All right, let's just dive right into this. Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. Today, we are unpacking one of the most intense, mysterious, and honestly deeply fascinating topics in the entire zodiac: Scorpio compatibility. We're basing our journey today on some absolutely incredible insights from Hellenistic astrologer Sunil Bugal. Whether you're trying to understand your own intensity or you're trying to navigate a relationship with a Scorpio, you probably already know that surface level, yeah, it just doesn't cut it. We are going deep today into love, trust, and relationship dynamics to see exactly what makes this sign tick. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by breaking down the intense Scorpio profile, then move right into the matches made in heaven, explore those tricky but rewarding bonds, and analyze the passionate growth partners. After that, we'll outline the steep uphill climbs, and finally, we'll unlock the keys to lifelong devotion. All right, part one, the intense Scorpio profile, power and privacy. If you're trying to win a Scorpio over, understanding this core identity is absolutely crucial. It's the foundation for literally everything else we're going to talk about today. Scorpios operate with a strict all-or-nothing approach to love. We're not talking about casual dating here. This is a relationship mindset that demands absolute loyalty, total emotional depth, and complete trust. As Bugle points out, a Scorpio will completely reject a surface-level connection. They want that soul-deep bond. For them, love is never something you just do halfway, it's an absolute devotion. They're seeking mutual surrender. So if you aren't ready to go all the way into the depths with them, well, they aren't going to waste their time. So how does that all-or-nothing energy interact with the rest of the zodiac? Well, here is our ultimate compatibility tier list. Right at the top, we've got our best matches: Cancer, Pisces, and Capricorn, where deep emotion and loyalty really thrive. Next up, tricky but rewarding with Virgo and Taurus. Down a tier from that are growth partners, Sagittarius and Aries, where passion meets a need for, major compromise. And finally, the most challenging signs: Gemini, Leo, Libra, and Aquarius. These guys represent a pretty steep uphill climb when it comes to control and rules. Keep this visual roadmap in the back of your mind as we break down each tier. Moving right along to section 2, matches made in heaven. The soul-deep connections. I love this quote from Hellenistic astrologer Sunil Bugal because it just perfectly captures why these top-tier partners make the cut. He says, "In a world of surface-level connections, you are the one looking for a soul-deep bond that transcends the ordinary." I mean, that's the baseline right there. If a partner cannot transcend the ordinary, they simply cannot hold a Scorpio's heart. A Scorpio wants to know your secrets, your fears, your deepest ambitions. They are looking for a completely transformative experience when it comes to love. So the real trick is finding someone who speaks that exact same language, right? And that brings us to fellow water signs, Cancer and Pisces. These pairings are incredibly successful because they speak the exact same deep emotional language. They naturally create this environment of profound trust and super high emotional awareness. They've got this incredible shared intuition, like literally sensing a mood shift across a room and knowing exactly what the other needs without a single word being spoken. It's an environment that's safe enough for a Scorpio to actually drop their walls. The only warning here? With all that intense merged emotion, both partners really have to actively ensure they maintain their own separate identities, just to avoid any jealousy or codependency. But hey, it's not just water signs up the top. Capricorn and Scorpio, they form the ultimate power couple. They share these fundamental, core values: extreme privacy, relentless ambition, and remarkably high bar for devotion. Capricorn's unwavering strength and practical nature make the Scorpio feel entirely secure. They're both truly in it for the long haul, creating a highly stable, rock-solid foundation. So if you're a Scorpio watching this, Capricorn is the partner you can finally build an empire with. You don't ever have to second-guess their loyalty, which leaves you both totally free to conquer your goals together. All right, section 3, tricky but rewarding bonds, the grounded stabilizers. Now we see a direct clash between Scorpio and their polar opposite on the zodiac wheel, Taurus. Scorpio is highly private, often secretive, and yet they have some jealous tendencies. Taurus, on the other hand, demands full transparency and definitely leans toward possessive tendencies. Because both of these are fixed signs, they can be incredibly stubborn, completely digging their heels in during a disagreement. When you mix Scorpio's need to hold things back with Taurus's demand to see everything, Bugle notes it can quickly turn into an eternal match of wills. The friction is immense, but you know what? The passion that drives that friction is equally powerful. So, how do we actually navigate this? Well, here is the action plan directly from our source for both Taurus and Virgo pairings. Step 1, make a pact for 100% honesty from the very beginning. Hidden truths will absolutely destroy the trust this bond requires. Step 2, you've got to use solution-oriented communication to bypass that mutual stubbornness. It has to be about fixing the problem together rather than just trying to win an argument. And step 3, commit to spiritual growth and emotional vulnerability. Outside the bedroom, if a Scorpio and their partner can commit to these steps, these stubborn clashes actually transform into beautiful, deeply grounding sanctuaries where both people feel completely protected. Let's shift gears to section 4, passionate growth partners, fire and friction. Okay, the physical attraction in an Aries pairing is often totally off the charts, but outside the bedroom, it's a massive challenge. Scorpio thrives in a highly private world requiring strict rules and regulations just to feel emotionally safe. Aries, meanwhile, is a loud, open book who acts purely on impulse and naturally desires to lead or dominate. And since nobody dominates a Scorpio, this pairing risks turning from a passionate power couple into a literal boxing ring. It's a fundamental conflict between Scorpio's need for emotional safety and Aries' need for unbridled expression. They absolutely must explicitly agree on rules for self-control, otherwise that fire is going to burn the whole thing down. And then we have Sagittarius. This relationship requires what Bogle calls a mountain of compromise. Why? Because you are trying to bridge this massive gap between Scorpio's need for strict consistency and the Archer's absolute need for freedom. Honestly, a relationship with a Sagittarius can feel like a constant uphill climb. Without clear boundaries established incredibly early on, Sagittarius starts to feel caged and controlled, while Scorpio feels deeply insecure and neglected. It forces the Scorpio to stretch their trust muscles to the absolute limit. It's a really difficult dynamic, for sure, but it's also a profound opportunity for personal growth. Moving to section 5, the steep uphill climbs, fundamental clashes. These are the signs where fundamental worldviews just dramatically collide with the Scorpio identity. We're talking completely different views on control and rules. These signs often prioritize social excitement, variety, or personal independence way over the profound emotional depth the Scorpio craves. They literally have misaligned definitions of what consistency and truth even mean. And ultimately, there are massive clashing desires regarding independence versus making decisions strictly as a cohesive, unified partnership. For a Scorpio, security is everything, but for these signs, that same security can often feel like a trap. When we look at air signs like Gemini and Libra, the differences are just stark. Scorpio requires rules, likes to stay low-key, and deeply values privacy. Gemini and Libra, they are complete social butterflies. They're naturally flirtatious, playful, and highly unpredictable. For a Scorpio, this outward, breezy social nature instantly triggers intense jealousy and is almost always misread as a lack of commitment or untrustworthiness. The Scorpio wants to merge souls, while the air sign really just wants to mingle at the party. Honestly, as the source material suggests, without other major points of astrological connection, these signs are often much better suited as fantastic friends rather than romantic partners. Then we've got the specific friction with Leo and Aquarius. Talk about fixed sign power struggles. Both Leo and Aquarius flat out refuse to budge once their minds are made up. Leo wants to run the show and be adored. Aquarius answers to no one and values total autonomy. And Scorpio demands that decisions be made completely together. It's this core clash over who holds the reins. Making this work demands massive personal transformation from both sides just to meet in the middle, requiring a level of compromise that fixed signs naturally resist. And finally, section 6, keys to lifelong devotion, unlocking the Scorpio heart. So, here is the ultimate Scorpio success formula drawn from everything we've analyzed today, regardless of what sign you are. First, you must respect their absolute need for privacy. Pushing them to reveal things before they're ready, yeah, that will definitely backfire. Second, you've got to match their all-or-nothing energy. Half-hearted, lukewarm love will simply be rejected. Third, share the decision-making power. They need to feel like an equal partner, not a subordinate. Fourth, build an unshakable foundation of deep trust through consistent actions over time. And finally, master the art of vulnerability. Vulnerability is the ultimate secret here, meaning you have to be willing to drop your ego, show your own flaws, and admit your fears. It really is the only way to transform simple attraction into a lifelong, soul-deep bond. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Looking at everything as Scorpio demands and the incredible, unwavering loyalty they offer in return, are you ready to drop your walls for the ultimate, soul-deep bond? It's not an easy journey, but for those who are prepared for the transformative intensity of a Scorpio relationship, it just might be the most rewarding love of your life. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring and keep learning.